Hello and welcome. Episode 4 of In the Doghouse.
Woo!
And today we are joined by a special guest and long-serving friend of mine. We've got ourselves a mule.
Hello there.
Not in the literal sense, but he is hung like one.
Never gets old.
No, it doesn't. Right, kick things off. How do we know each other, Mule?
Well, through school, really. Secondary school.
Yeah.
You were sort of in that group of friends that were all a bit odd.
Fuck do you mean? What do you mean fucking odd? This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Well, no, because at school there was like the cool kids.
So what you're trying to say is I was like Simon from the In-Betweeners. Like, just in between.
Hi, guys.
Well, not even that. I was just like the in-betweener group, like not quite in the cool
No,
kids.
you're more like Neil.
What, height-wise or dance-wise or intelligence-wise?
The whole package.
It's got a horse's cock, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, we secondary school, and then we just sort of hit it off. Really, I think first time I only really knew you for a few weeks, and then you were sort of like, "Oh, do you want to come on holiday down to?" I can't remember where it was. Croyd.
It was Croyd, yeah.
Croyd, yeah. It was camping in a field with a load of other mates, just drinking cider out in the cold, and I said, "Yeah," and that's been it. Really, we just sort of hit it off from there, I suppose.
How many years has it been now? When we would have been year 9, I reckon. So we would have been about 13. So that's about 14 years you've had to suffer my friendship.
Yeah, I'd say
That's
that.
a
Yeah,
fucking long time.
it's a long time.
It's a fucking long time. Oh dear. Right, we'll kick things off with the first questions, like we do for everyone. Guest questions. Over to you, Marlon.
So, what does the sesh mean to you?
I've been thinking about this because I knew this was coming because I listened to all the other podcasts, and I think it's just going out with your mates, isn't it? But it's like it's resetting your whole week, sort of thing. That's how I look at it. So if you've had like a really bad week at work, like really bad, and you just go out with all your mates, you don't even have to get that drunk. You just like, I don't know, you just have a laugh, don't you? And you're not like uptight about everything. You've got to be uptight all the time and serious at work when it's like, you know, when you're trying to fix people's stuff, you don't want to be like the joke sort of thing. You got to try and actually act like you're serious about and you actually care about them and things.
That's the best answer yet.
And it's just nice. You can actually just let your hair down and just like it's a reset, and then you go back into work on a Monday, and it's like
All refreshed, slightly hungover still.
You've had a blowout and ready to hit it again.
And there's nothing like a sleep after like 20 vodkas or however many you end up drinking
hell,
at
yeah.
night.
It's called a coma.
It really sets you up.
All right, then. Well, with that in mind, what is your best cure for a hangover?
There isn't one, is there? Really? I think you're right in the sense of if you can, and I have done it, just get up, go out and do something. That is the best cure by far.
But it's getting there.
There's no motivation to do that, is there? You just got to stay in and just eat as much as you possibly
Shut all the
can.
curtains
Yeah, and just pretend the world isn't there anymore. That's what I do. There's been multiple times where you've come around my house and I've been absolutely hanging and just dragged me out of bed for some breakfast. And in the long run, it's great, but at the time, I really hated you for it.
We used to call it Sunday Mule. So after a big night on Saturday, we'd go around, I'd drive from my house down to his house, and he'd still be in bed with, bitches.
No, it was never bitches.
Usually the dog. It was the fucking dog.
No, it wasn't. It was like half of
where we live.
Half of where we live.
Yeah,
because it was like my parents' house where we were growing up. It was like the place to be. So like, not the place to be. It was the place where we were allowed to be. Sort of thing.
Shit was fucking popping.
And so like, you go out, like there'd just be like 4 of us. We'd pre-drink there and we'd go into town, and then you'd wake up in the morning and there's like 8 people in my bedroom. And it's like, I don't even know how they all got here. We didn't go out with as many people. You all weren't there. Like,
we'd all just appear. There'd be some. We had the space next to your bed was known as the hole.
Oh yeah, it was like a 2-foot wide gap between my bed and the wall, pretty much. And everyone used to fight over the hole, and I don't know why.
I think it was because you weren't really going to get fucked with in the hole. The only thing that was going to happen, not in that sense, not in a Nancy sense, but
show me your cheeks, boys.
Show me what that boy pussy looked like. No, you get like, you'd only just get shit thrown on you, like bags and stuff. and then you just kind of be protected from the rest. Whereas if you're on the floor in front of Mule's bed, people would like get up for a piss in the night and like stand on your head, like stand on your fucking throat. So the hole was like quite a nice little. It was like
So
yeah, it was. It was like a 6x10 cell. And just you knew your boundaries. No one's gonna fuck with you. All right then. Leading on from that, what was the most mental thing that's happened to you, or you've done, or you've seen on a night out?
I have seen some crazy things.
Like a Vietnam veteran.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of things where you're never going to get an answer out of anyone that comes on this saying what's the most mental thing you've ever seen. Because
Is there anything you can talk about?
Not really. I mean, like
nobody wants to incriminate themselves. You could say allegedly.
The weirdest thing that ever happened was when we were in Prague and we went clubbing, and then everywhere was shut apart from this casino. So we all went into this casino. We were just drinking away, just chatting. We weren't gambling or anything. We were just chatting. It was, still drinking, and they didn't know how to pour drinks. So literally like giving us like quad martinis or whatever weird
that was it. We
drinking at the time.
Shaken, not stirred.
We were 18 at the time, and we thought we'd go to the casino and we'd be fucking ballers. And we'd be like, "Yo, we'll ask for 4 martinis." No fucking idea what a martini is. Since then, I've had a martini and they're fucking disgusting.
Yeah,
but
they were quite nice. I don't think they were martinis. I think
no, they weren't. Because they said they run out of martinis. They make us something else, and we're like, "All right." And well, you tell the fucking story. It's not my story to tell.
We drank them dry of whatever we were drinking.
And the woman behind the bar had absolutely no idea what a measure was.
No, she didn't. So it'd be like,
she was like, say when that's enough. I was like, keep going.
It was like quarter pints of whatever it was in a mixer. And then we'd be like, how much is that? She'd be like, oh, and it worked out like £1 or something like that. She didn't have a clue what was going on. And it was when we were walking out of there, we were really, really smashed. And I was thinking, God, they've got some really good lights in this hallway. Like, really good. We kept going, so it was like mirrored walls and stuff like that. And as we got to like the front door, I realised it wasn't that. It was like, because it was like mid-morning sort of thing. And walked out, and there's people like walking around with shopping bags, and they're just going about their day. We're right in the middle of the town. Like, it is the main touristy bit. There's people going off for the day to go see whatever touristy stuff, and we just come staggering out of this thing. We can't see a thing because we went in. It was pitch. It was like, I don't know what time it was. It was pitch black.
We did a press-up competition. Am I right? We did. We did a press-up competition in the casino bar because it was the only place that was open. And I can't remember why we did it, but
because we were 18 and we were strong men.
We're finally men.
We're finally men with freedom.
Fuck's sake.
But yeah, I think that was probably like, without having to, that's probably...
Without incriminating yourself.
Yeah, that's
getting
probably...
yourself in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, so it wasn't particularly crazy, but it was probably the weirdest thing that happened, just because my brain could not compute what had happened. Like, the sun had come up, and it was like still 3 a.m. in my mind.
Right, moving on. How's the week been?
It's been all right. It's been flat out, actually. It's really busy. Lots of horrible jobs, as like every job is. You ever find a mechanic that's just like, yeah, I had a really nice week.
Hell no.
Yeah, Marlon, tell us more about that.
No, I can't. It's fucking shit.
But, yeah.
Anybody thinking about getting into the motor trade, I highly advise against it.
Yeah, I think we all went in. We all really loved cars, didn't we? We were
Why?
like 16. We were
Why?
like, I love cars. I'm going to fix cars.
Really want to fix them.
How long did you last before you actually ended up hating them? I think I managed about 2 months of working on cars.
No, I think I did a couple of years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think at the time I was like 21, and I was like, what the fuck have I done? I tried doing something else, and I was like, oh, this is even worse.
What was it?
I was picking parts and delivering parts and shit, because I got made redundant when I was like the week before Christmas or something.
Right, okay.
And I was like, fuck, well, I got fucking rent to pay. I need to find another job now. And a mate of a mate said, oh yeah, we got this going. And it was down in Norton.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Working for quite a large factors.
Yeah.
It's just fucking awful. I lasted 26 days.
See, I thought that would be all right, because you're just going around chatting to people.
It's monotonous. That's you don't have to think about anything. Pick number, oil filter 3674. Got number 3674. Deliver 3674.
Well, you don't get number 3674 there, do you? Go and just pick something at random.
Yeah, anyway.
Just there you go, guys. That's probably the right one, maybe.
Yeah.
Just shitting on the motor factures trader.
Some of them are shit out, mind, I will say. There's a few of our lot now who are proper head screwed on, very, very rarely fuck up. But some of them, as a prime example, I rang up for a MAP sensor, manifold pressure sensor. And he's like, so that's the MAF, innit? Not, that's the mass airflow sensor. No, it's a MAP. Well, I don't list a MAP, so it must be the MAF. No, I'll just ring someone else. I'm wasting my fucking time. Have you had a good week, Reg?
Well,
Agent 47, whatever. We don't know what he does, do we? So it could be anything.
I think he's 0069 drinking them martinis.
He could well be.
Well, I mean, week-wise, work-wise, has been another week at work, but we
One question I've been dying to ask you.
I know, you said about
how's your fucking P38, mate?
I've had a bit of Range Rover trouble this week, I won't lie. Don't want to get too much into it because everyone keeps less car talk, but no, fuck you. This is my podcast, I'll do as I fucking please. And you're going to sit here and listen to my Range Rover woes.
I think woes are all right.
Yeah, just not
So it broke again?
Well, it got a little bit hot on the way home the other day, and as I was just instantly having sort of Vietnam-style flashbacks to previous Range Rovers that have blown head gaskets, and the moment the temperature gauge goes off of dead centre, you can just book it in for a head gasket. So I saw it climbing, and I thought, oh god,
here we go.
yeah. So pulled over. Luckily, managed to nurse it home without really cooking it. I had good old Mule come over one evening and assess the issue, and we kind of determined that it probably wasn't a head gasket, and confirmed that today that it's not a head gasket. There is just like quite a considerable fluid leak somewhere on the front. So
I like how you've narrowed it down.
Yeah, in true me fashion, I'm just going to replace everything water related on the front of the car, and that's going to fix the problem like it has done before. I'm never actually going to get to the bottom of what was wrong. I'm just going to replace everything and hope it works. So just, throw mud at the wall and see what sticks. That's the plan. But yes, so having 3 Range Rovers that are broken at the moment is, I say broken, one's being restored and 2 are...
They're all broken.
2 are soon to be in bits.
That's a point, yeah. You actually don't have a car at the moment.
No, she's taking me to work and back.
How old are you?
It's none of your fucking business, you can't.
Oh.
The problem is when your backup vehicle from a Range Rover is a Range Rover.
Yeah.
Ain't never gonna end well, is it?
No, you've bought into this life and you just need to accept it. This is the life I chose.
So you need a backup for the backup, which is the first backup.
If it was a head gasket, I was actually on the Facebook Marketplace on her phone having a look at Freelanders. Like just thinking I could do
an L series again.
I could do with a nice sort of reliable Freelander if there is such a thing. But yeah, anyway. So that's my week in cars. We'll just do that. That'll be a little segment from now on. Reg's week in cars. So Reg, what's fucking broken this week, you useless cunt? Well, I need a new torque converter. Definitely need a new transfer box.
So Mule, we've obviously glanced over it roughly. You're obviously a mechanic.
I am. Yes.
And apparently you own something.
I do. I have my own garage. I'm a real boy. My own place. Yeah, I've been going about, it's nearly just over 3 years now.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, and it's been great. It's been one of the most stressful things I've ever done.
Can fucking imagine.
You're really selling the strike out on your own dream here.
Well,
your own boss. Do what you want.
It's not doing. Everyone thinks you can finish when you want and do what you want.
It's all cocaine and strippers, baby.
Yeah, it's not. It's really not, because it's at the end of the day, it's like, oh, sorry, I didn't finish your car because I just wanted to go home. It doesn't really fly.
Sorry, 5:30's here. Cha-chunk. I'm off home.
It's not really the same. So yeah, there's been a lot of late nights and a lot of early mornings. Pretty much all of you have helped me massily throughout the years, pretty much.
I think I've taken more than I've given, if I'm honest.
Well, no, you've held heavy things for me.
I hope you put some buttons back in the other day, didn't I?
Yes, you did, yeah. And when we were rewiring the workshop, you kindly came down with a barbecue.
Yeah, and a considerable amount of beer, if I recall rightly.
Yeah,
all the essentials from Reg.
Yeah, you've got it.
Yeah, so yeah, you've all been a massive help, and it is great. It is, and I do love it. But thing is, with self-employed, I think if you're not really into what you're doing, you're never gonna like stick with it sort of thing. Like you're really going to deal with all the paperwork and all that and everything.
Yeah, your heart's got to be in it.
I think so.
Yeah,
to
you
a
need to
point,
want to
yeah.
succeed and
Yeah, I think so.
be the best you can be.
Yeah, but I did like 2 years just being mobile, and that was like,
Backbreaking and torturous.
yeah. Well, you kind of like it's the best job in the world in the summer because you're just like
Yeah.
you're just out in the sun, just doing your own thing. You can just take your time, whatever sort of thing. But yeah, when it's snowing and you're like under a
Yeah.
lorry, it's like the
Cold,
worst.
dark, wet days of January arrive. Mule's hung over for a month, balls deep into a fucking Renault Dispatch.
A fucking Renault Dispatch.
Oh yeah, but yeah, it's good, and I think anyone that should do it, give it a go really, because you always regret it. I think if you didn't, that was my main reason for doing it, because I always wanted to, and I thought it's that age old thing. You don't want to be like 60 or something. I think, oh, I wish I tried that, and like even if you fail, it's just like
I say it's better than to try and fail than
Whatever,
to
that's-
fail
yeah.
trying.
I can't really remember
I
what the
don't
saying
fucking
is.
know.
Yeah, but yeah, basically that. So go for it if you want to, pretty much.
So
But I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
So sort of briefly talked about it in that you were mobile for 2 years, so you didn't really have a base. Everything you were doing was out the back of a van.
Yeah.
With you obviously you were a mechanic before you set yourself up. You were a mechanic for how long? You did your qualification, didn't you? And
Yeah, so it's 3 years apprenticeship, and then I was in that
Nice.
same job for. He fell over. He was so surprised. Yeah, it was three years in apprenticeship, and then I probably stayed in that same job for another 3 years, something like that, I guess.
yeah,
And then I realised the company I was working for wasn't really where I wanted it to be, sort of thing, morally. So,
that's cutting.
yeah, so I kind of went away from that. And then I was out of the trade for a year and a half, probably, something like that, where it was literally a case of just trying to get a customer base. So it was literally do your job, finish work, do cars for people, and just try and get a customer base up for like a year and a half of just doing weekends and nights and stuff like that, just to try and make it go, and then just hit the go button after that year and a half sort of thing.
It was quite good where, like you say, before you set yourself up, you had a job sort of not related to mechanics, but you were still doing a bit of after hours work for people, helping out and whatnot. And you managed to, with all the people you got to know through that job, like you said, you got yourself a pretty big customer base. I mean, a big enough customer base to set yourself up in business.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
really played to your advantage there.
yeah, I mean, the company it was dealing with builders all day, every day. So it worked out really well because builders want things done cheap, essentially.
And builders don't look after their kit.
Then they don't. So they're really good because they keep coming back because they keep it's broken.
Please fix this. I've taken the oil pan off again. Please fix this.
And it's nice that they get to know you beforehand. They know you're not like,
Fly by night.
yeah, they kind of trust you because they know who you are beforehand, sort of thing. So really, like, it wasn't part of the plan, really, but that was like quite a big help, and really, because it did bring a lot of custom my way, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it's all word of mouth around here because it's quite a small area.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So-
It's reputation's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried adverts and stuff like that and various things, and
Waste of fucking money, isn't
it
it?
is, yeah. Literally, because I tend to ask everyone where they heard of me if I haven't had them in before, and it's always, oh, my mate said. It's never, I saw your thing in the newspaper. It's never that.
Word of
Never.
mouth is gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So long-term goals with the business. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
It's difficult. A big part of me wants to get really big, and I want to like employ people, and like maybe have like 4 or 5 blokes, sort of thing. But it's like, is it worth it, sort of thing? I don't know, because are you just going to earn the same amount of money?
That added stress, that added paperwork for maybe the same amount of money at the end of the day.
Yeah. So I really don't know where I'm. Literally, I just go with the flow, sort of
See
thing.
what
really.
happens.
Yeah, and just whatever happens, sort of thing.
As long as you're making money, it's
yeah. So it's whether or not, because I remember you said there was that guy who did your LPG stuff and that,
Yeah,
and he said the similar thing. That kind of stuck with me a bit.
he did. He said, our friend worked for him.
yeah.
And he had a team of, I think he had a massive unit. He had a
Huge workshop, yeah.
huge work, so big that he put boats in there for storage.
Really?
Yeah, huge place. And he employed about 6 or 7 people, I'd imagine, at his peak. And then I think he had a kid, and he cut it all right back. And he told me I make more money with just a guy coming in to help out lifting heavy shit, and when things get busy, than I did when I had 6 or 7 people on.
And then you've got everyone's like pensions and all sorts on top of that.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's
every bit of paperwork.
Dealing with people is the hard work. Managing people, especially, is tough.
Yeah.
It's I think that's a lot to be said for it. But it was whatever works for you. It's just interesting to know where you'll sort of see yourself in the future. And I mean, you've gone from strength to strength in the last 3 years, from working at the back of a van to having yourself a nice unit and a nice
ramp inside.
Nice expensive tools.
Oh, yeah, a ramp. Yeah. But
you don't owe the Snap-on man a fucking penny.
I don't, and that's the nicest. No one will know what that's like. I don't think anyone ever got out of that loop, but I did. It's quite simple.
My account was cleared for a good 12 months.
Really?
Yeah, fucking nothing on it, and then
what
one of the blokes I was working with left, and I was like, shit, well, I haven't got these sockets, and I need those sockets. And I was like, well, I'm only going to buy Snap-on. Let's go, baby.
Oh, no.
Nothing to like 1,500 quid in 5 minutes.
You kind of need the best, though, don't you? Otherwise, you end up punching yourself in the face.
Yeah.
Like, when your ratchet
that's it.
breaks.
There's no point
Shut
in buying.
Fuck you. Fuck you too.
There is no point in buying cheap shit if you're using it every fucking day.
I still haven't got my glasses repaired, you bunch of pricks.
Have you put anything in the vice this week, Reg?
My hopes and dreams of owning a fucking reliable car. Other than that, no.
Have you thought about a VW?
I put a few nuts in the not my nuts, put some nuts in the vice because I wanted to
BDSM torture shit going on
because the powers that be didn't want to pay for new shiny things, so I had to kind of like clean up the nuts that I had. And
nice.
Yeah, times is hard, man.
Likes rusty nuts.
Times is hard. Yeah, it's shit. But
have you got any advice for someone wanting to go out on their own? Do's, don'ts. Something you'd wish you'd known?
I think, you can't please everyone, no matter what you do. Like, it's very easy to be like, you can overpromise so easily. You'd be like, yeah, that'll be done today, and that'll be done today, and then it only takes like one thing to go wrong, and then you're just like...
In a world of shit.
Yeah, you are, yeah, then you're working till like 10 o'clock at night, and you're just like, why did I say yes? Why didn't I just say I'll come back tomorrow, or something like that? Like, and you can overpromise and just get too invested in, like, a job or a customer or something like that sort of thing. So just sort of know your limits, I think, really, and just prepare as well. Like, prepare for the fact you're probably not going to earn any money for
a few months sort of thing.
Maybe a year, pretty much, because there's always, when you start up, there's always stuff you need to buy. You think you bought everything, and you just don't do it. Like, me and you took a horse box to a tool place to load up with loads of stuff.
In the centre of that city.
Yeah.
What was it we were at home with? It was the Freelander. It was the Freelander. We took that Freelander that we built.
Yeah.
With the horse.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, because neither of my cars got tow hitch on them. We took the Freelander into the middle of that city, the middle of the city with this horse box, and we were like, all right, to back it up here and drive. The bloke in the tool shop was like, "Are you fucking serious? Well, we're gonna fucking fit it all in there, shag." We bought in some back ass fucking.
It was dodgy around there, wasn't it?
I think we had somebody.
Someone had to wait with the car. I think
it was a snatch situation, wasn't it? It was like, pay some kids to watch the car. Gene Hunt, Life on Mars. Watch the car. If anything gets fucked up, I'll come around your house and stamp on all your toys. Yeah.
Yeah. So like after that trip, we must have been in that shop like 3 hours, something like that. Literally just buying stuff constantly, weren't we?
It was like a big ass wholesaler type thing.
It was Machine Mart.
It was, yeah. So it was like all your main workshop tools and stuff like that. We were in there ages, and then still come away, and then like, right, let's go. Let's begin being self-employed, sort of thing. And you're like, oh, I don't have that piece of equipment. For fuck's sake.
I forgot to spend $5,000 on a diagnostic kit.
Yeah, that's the trouble. And those things just go out of date like within 3 years.
Yeah, so if you don't update them,
So
that's how they get you.
That is how they get you. You don't know what it's like. You just go in and say, "Yeah, just plug that in, would you?"
You don't.
Yeah, just plug that in. All right, cheers. Oh no, you got to pay for that. Well, you've only been on it 2 minutes.
It's like the fucking Logic, mine. That's like 7-8 grand's worth of kit.
Yeah.
And 250 quid a month. And people are like, "Oh, £60 for a diagnostic charge." Yeah, the fucking kit don't buy itself.
Yeah. But no one wants to pay it. No one ever wants to pay it.
It's like that age-old story, isn't it? Of you pay a man to come round and fix your engine, and he pulls out a small hammer, and he taps it with the hammer, and he sends you a bill for £1,000 to get your engine running. And you say, "What the fuck? £1,000 to get my fucking engine running?" And he said, "Yeah, it was £1 for the hammer tap and £999 for knowing where to fucking tap."
Yeah, that's fucking right.
It's all inexperience.
Yeah.
Right, I think it's about time for beer of the week. So I'll go get the beers. And we will cut to a short break here, and we'll be back very quickly. And we're back.
We're back, baby.
I have been to the fridge, and I have got us beer of the week.
What is it, Reggie?
Well, I've gone and got us something a little bit different. It's a little less crafty, as I was so upset last week with. I just totally shit on Brewdog. I'm just waiting for the email from Brewdog.
You just ruined someone's company.
Yeah, I'm never going to get a brand deal with Brewdog now. After I was like, well, I think if anything, the Pilsner is more lost than the lager. Such a cunty thing to say. So what I've got is I've gone for a Rockshore Irish Lager, and I think it's time to. We're going to read the marketing bullshit. You press wrong. The production quality here is fucking brilliant.
Why the fuck do I keep turning that down?
Okay, it is. It's brewed in Dublin at St James's Gate. That's fucking. It's Guinness. It must be owned by Guinness because St James's Gate is the Guinness brewery.
How do you know that?
Because I've fucking been there. Yeah. Brewed by Diego Ireland at St James's Gate, Dublin. Right, okay. An ice-cold, bright golden Irish lager for a refreshing taste reminiscent of a blast of fresh air on the rocky shore of the Irish Atlantic coast. That is some marketing bullshit.
That is proper bullshit, isn't it?
So let's have a go. See what we think. That's weird.
It's the longest pause there's ever been.
I'm getting marzipan. I'm not trying to sound like one of those cunty fucking.
You sound.
Oh, the wine tasters.
Yeah.
Ew. I'm getting hints of.
Joe, the moment those words left my mouth.
Shit.
I'm getting.
Hazelnuts.
The moment those words left my mouth, I thought they're gonna fucking rip me for this. Sound like some craft beer connoisseur, but that's what I tasted. Man, I get a bit of almond.
I don't really taste anything.
No, I'm not getting anything from that.
It's a bit flat. I'll give you that. That's the only thing I'm getting, which is just like, I don't know.
It's all right.
It's all right. It's drinkable.
I don't think I'll pay for it.
I'm not going to buy a keg of it. Put it that way. I should have got Hot Pipes because that's brewed by fucking Guinness, isn't it? That's lovely stuff.
That is nice.
I did nearly pick that up earlier.
Light, crisp, and refreshing taste. What does it say? Made with just 4 quality ingredients. What are they?
Piss.
It's all right, but you are never
Don't
going
make any Irish jokes. They're going around in my head like you wouldn't believe. They're not going to leave my mouth.
You're never going to end up with this dream of a beer deal with one of these companies. Every single one that comes up with it, you're like, this is horrible. This is.
It's not horrible. It's
Have we given a good review
just
yet?
a bit
on
meh.
What was the first one we did?
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn Lager,
That's
which
quite nice.
then we made jokes about
Yeah.
why they serve American beer cold, so you can tell it from your own piss. And then I totally shit on Brewdog last week, and this week I've just fucked off the Irish. So that's gone well, hasn't it? Fuck's sake. Well, hopefully in the next episode Marlon's brought us something better because that was my choice. Somebody's got to redeem us at some point, for fuck's sake. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I can drink it, but
It's not anything.
it's not fucking Stella though, is it?
Nah, fuck it.
All right, that's enough of us fucking slating this beer. We'll move on.
Again.
Now, just want to talk a little bit about the sort of health issues you've had, Mule, through your younger years and, still today. Because as we mentioned on the podcast last week, we didn't say your name, but you've had the COVID vaccine.
I have.
Yes. And the reason for that being are you considered high risk, or what's the score there?
Well, I don't really know. It's a difficult one. No one really seems to know what's going on. They just sort of see you've got an illness and they're just like, well, that's probably best if he has it, sort of thing. No one really, because when I spoke to my doctor, I was like, should I be shielding? Am I at any risk? I don't ever read into anything I've got, sort of thing. And they were just like, well, it hasn't really been about for long enough, so we don't really know if you're okay or not. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll go to work then.
I got bills to pay, baby.
You haven't grown any extra limbs or anything yet?
No, absolutely fine. I mean, I had it start of March, so 2, 3
The
weeks
vaccine,
ago?
not the virus.
Not the virus.
Just to confirm, as
Not
we
the
are
virus.
not recording not far from that date.
Yeah, absolutely fine. I had like a slight headache and a dead arm for like 4 or 5 days or something. But
Is that as long as that? Dead arm? That
well,
long?
not really a dead arm, but you know, like when you've had a jab, if you hit it, it hurts.
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But
It's
if you don't
tender.
hit it, it's fine. So
Yeah.
it's just like a bruise. So I really don't know what the big hype is about. Like the French were basically just trying to screw us over.
It's the fucking French.
Yeah, it's like don't have that English one. Why not?
No politics. How did you bring it up and I didn't? I was going to try and steer it clear of it. Right, all right. Trying to get back on track here. Just not shitting on the French. So you've had a few health issues in the past, and we spoke about it, let all listeners in behind the curtain. We spoke about this before and sort of said, you're right to talk about this because, it's been obviously very difficult for you, but for most people, it's quite an interesting topic as, very few people would have lived through what you've lived through, and
yeah, I guess so. It's I don't know. I guess obviously I've been through it, so I don't find it particularly interesting, sort of thing. But I guess other people do, like some sort of weird sort of because no one ever asks about it, sort of thing. Everyone's like too scared to ask about it.
I think it's the same with a lot of things, isn't it? If it's people often automatically think that's a subject they're not going to talk about, like mental health, like losing a member of your family or breaking up with someone. People just assume that you don't want to talk about it. But
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
In that sort of fact, so start us off. Start from the start. If it's easier, start wherever you want.
I was born and
And the world groaned.
No, so I had cancer when I was a kid. It's the type of one that you're you're just born with it. There's no other reason for it. You're just born with it. And
What's the crap? Mother love them Bensons or what?
no, she's gonna hate you for that.
Oh, I love you, mother. You know that.
Yeah, so just sort of born with it. I mean, no one really knew there was anything wrong with me, to be honest with you. Looking back on it, you can see it now.
What kind of cancer was it?
Its name is neuroblastoma. I don't know why it's called that or anything like that, but basically it's just like, I think it can be pretty, it's all normally in your torso sort of thing, so mine was like, sort of right around like me gut sort of area type thing. And yeah, so we went to the doctors here because obviously I don't remember it. I was 4 at the time, so I barely remember any of this pretty much, but apparently...
And that's when you were diagnosed with it? Or
diagnosed with it at 4.
So they didn't know you had it until then?
Yeah, well, the doctors over here still didn't believe I had it, sort of thing, which was...
When you say doctors over here, where did you go to get diagnosed?
South Africa?
France. Funny enough, after shitting on the French, they saved my life.
Those fucking French. Yeah, so the French saved my life. So was that when you were on holiday?
Yeah, so basically, like, apparently I was in agony, and went to the doctors here, and one of them, he was just really, really weird. So he was saying like, I think he's putting it on. I've seen sick children, and they're like dying on the floor of a mud hut in Africa. I've been out there, and that they're not sat on their mum's knee in a nice warm office. Like, like I don't know where the logic is on that. Like, you can be ill anywhere in the world. Yeah. So mum and dad were like, all right, okay, yeah, he's probably faking it. Let's swing on down the south of France, drag him down there. And then it got really, really bad. So they just went to this GP in just in a village in France, not a hospital or anything, just to a GP's. And he literally put his hand on my stomach, less than a minute, and he was like, all right, you guys need to go back to England like now. So he rang the ferry company and said, you need to hold the ferry because these guys need to get there. So we all bundled back into the car, raced up through France in the old 1996 Astra. What would that have been? Astra H?
No.
Older than that.
Yeah, older than that.
Astra C or something, wouldn't it? Is that the one with the?
You know the one that's like a rounded back end?
Yeah,
on it
the
sort of thing?
hatchback style, not the saloon. Yeah, I know the ones.
The lovely faded red.
Oh, I know, yeah. Oh, I know. Is that the dark
Lovely.
red or is it the bright red?
Bright red with a sunroof.
Oh,
Dad had taste.
bet that bitch
I could fucking
leave.
say.
So we raced back all these angry people on the boat having to hold this. They just wanted to go home and they were waiting for this shabby old K-Reg Astra to get up the boat ramp.
An old lumpy mule.
And came back and I don't really know the full story of what happened. I think we went straight to a hospital rather than to Dr. Death at the GP surgery. And so we went up to the Bristol Children's Hospital, which is not at the moment, there's a new one now, but this was the old original one sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I went there and luckily they managed to sort of cut it out. I think it was about a 9-hour operation or something like that. And literally basically cut me in half essentially to get this thing. It was huge.
I gotta say, I've seen your scar. It's no small. It's not a small thing. I mean, it's getting smaller with you as you get older, isn't it?
It stays the same, but obviously I grow around it sort of thing.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
So when you get the size of Chops, it's going to be tiny.
Yeah,
Fucking
I can't wait for that day. Just keep eating me pies. So, I mean, they were amazing there. The surgeon that was meant to do it ended up not doing it because he wanted to play golf that day. So, like...
Epic.
Priorities.
The person that did do it was actually she was like, it's apprentice, but not an apprentice sort of thing. So she did it. And I think the worst bit about it for me parents was like, they were told it was like a 2-hour operation.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, shit, you're in there for 9 hours.
No one come out and told them what was going on or anything.
What's gone wrong, sort of
So they're
thing.
sat there like, the hell's going on?
The old man's been through a bottle of Grants and a fucking sleeve of Lamberts like in that fucking 9 hours.
Well, I don't think he knew because I think... well, no, not that my dad wasn't around when I was a kid. But I've got an older brother, so he would have been looking after him,
Oh,
I think.
see, yeah.
So it was only mum, and there's no mobile phones then.
No, of course.
Sort of thing. So he was just like, I'm a wait of a time, probably down the pub. And a nice time. But yeah, this thing was like, I think they said it was about the size of a mango sort of thing.
Fucking hell.
Jesus Christ. And how old were you? You were 4.
Yeah.
You were the size of a mango, you cunt.
Yeah, well, in the pictures of that holiday, you can see it.
Oh, shit.
Now you know where it is. When you look at it, when I'm like by a swimming pool and that, you can actually see the outline of it sort of thing.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's pretty weird, but at the time you don't, so you just...
Yeah, no. Was it attached to anything? Or was it just a matter of they just opened you up and just yeet?
It was sort of wrapped around something. I can't remember what gland or something. It was something fairly important, but it wasn't... They didn't need to take it out, whatever it was, sort of thing. So they cut it out, and it was totally malignant as well. So it was like real bad. It wasn't like the benign one that's just chilling in there, sort of thing.
Just chilling.
Yeah, it was like quite a bad one. But yeah. So they did that, and it's just the joy of being a kid being ill. Was like 3 days later, I was on a bouncy castle, sort of thing.
Just totally fixed. Just
Absolutely fine,
back.
ready to fucking go.
Just like your body like. Kids' bodies are amazing. They just like fix themselves, and they're like
You got a fucking gut full of staples, and you're just bouncing around on a fucking trampoline. Your mother's there sweating. Like,
oh yeah, she was.
Please don't die.
Yeah, please don't.
Don't
die.
read the stitches.
Don't burst open.
Why are all the children coming out red? Must be the face paint. Mule there, left on the floor. Help.
But yeah, absolutely amazing at that hospital. They're absolutely incredible, and didn't have to have chemo. None of that. Nothing. It was literally just cut out and
done.
that was it. Yeah,
That's crazy.
I was always under the impression if you had cancer, you have to have chemo.
I think again, I don't really read up onto
That's
it
it.
all.
I
Really,
have no fucking idea.
I think it's more if it grows in a certain way and it ends up getting in your blood. That's when it just goes around your body, and
Oh, I
that's
see.
when you're trying to that's where it can go anywhere. And I think it's also if you can't operate on it, then
the chemo shrinks it.
that's right.
Kill it
Yeah,
with chemicals.
yeah, that's right. But it's a pretty nasty. I'm glad I never had to have it because it's pretty horrendous.
Oh,
I think,
yeah.
really. Yeah, but yeah, it was a good start. Good start to the old...
And unfortunately, that's not the only health issues you've had
No,
as a child.
No. Yeah, no, I've had my fair share. So there was that. 2 years later, I started getting real bad stomach pains again, and everyone was like, oh here we go.
Yeah.
He's putting
it on again. Let's go see Dr. Death.
You didn't go see the same doctor.
No, we didn't, no. went back, and it was like years and years, like probably a year and a half of like testing, trying to figure out what the hell was wrong with me. Anyway, it turns out there's like something else wrong with me, which it still affects me to this day. Really, I still have quite bad times. It's a bit like it's called colitis, but it's like more common name is like Crohn's disease. You've probably heard like
I've
Yeah.
heard of Crohn's disease.
I think it's like a national awareness day for it and all that sort of thing. So it's a very similar thing. It's basically just like an inflammation of stuff inside you, sort of thing, inside your like gut and that. And so we had to go through trying to treat that sort of thing. But as far as I can make out, there isn't really a treatment for it. So I was only like 6 at this time, and this is like a new type that didn't have a name, so I had to give it a name, which was quite funny. But no one in my family can remember what name they gave it, so it might be disease. I don't know. But
Mulitos.
Yeah, I don't know. But so that was fun. So that's still an ongoing thing, really. But that's like, it's a weird one because it's basically my immune system attacking that area, sort of thing.
Oh, so it's like it's a what do they call that?
It's an autoimmune.
That's
thing.
that's what I was trying to get at. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can be fine for like a year, 2 years, and then just for one day, it'd be like someone's flicked a switch, and you just like it's like someone has literally like shot you, sort of thing. You just can't move or anything, sort of thing. And I still get bad flare-ups probably 2-3 times a year, sort of thing. But you just sort of learn to get on with it a bit more, sort of thing. It's not as bad as Crohn's disease, sort of thing. And that was so that was pretty much, that's still ongoing. But that was dealt with at Great Ormond Street in London. So that was pretty incredible to go there really and see what they do.
See all the bright lights of London as a boy.
I did get to see all the bright lights of London. Yeah, and the staff there are absolutely amazing. At Great Ormond Street, they really are. Like it kind of doesn't even like I can kind of remember that one, and it just doesn't feel like a hospital sort of thing when you're there, and because it's just a really amazing place, really. And that was that really. And it depends how long you want to go on this list, really, because we can talk all night about this. But
didn't you meet Ainsley Harriott?
Apparently, yes.
Oh, spicy.
Yeah.
Is that do they do that and they come round to sort of
That was at Great Ormond Street. Yeah.
they do it as not like a PR thing, but they do it to be like just to do a good deed, like a charity act, almost, to go around the children's ward and say, "Hey guys, ready, steady, cook, bitches."
Yeah, he gave. But the thing is with it is I didn't know it was him because he dressed as a clown. So like
That's a bit cunty, really, isn't it?
We didn't really. I didn't really have a like.
You didn't have a Savile come round dressed as a doctor.
No.
Now then.
Just gonna check your prostate milk.
But the trouble is, no one warned you. So, like, just this random bloke dressed as a clown came in, chucked me a load of stickers and a colouring book, and then walked off again. And I was like, it was this bold clown. Slipping around with olive oil everywhere. And
Give your meat a good old rub. Yeah, boy. I could go on Ainsley Harriott memes all day. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, so you weren't, because obviously I got to know you at school, and I think as I got to know you, you'd sort of not finished having time off school, but you were very much back into the normal swing of things, doing a normal routine. I mean, you never did PE a day in your life, you cunt, did you?
What a hero.
Fucking prick. Every time. You're like, right, boys, 2 degrees, out we get your kit on, we're going to go fucking play rugby and stand around for 45 minutes, and you'll be like, I'm off to the library, bitches.
yeah, and that was the cool thing to do, apparently. I was the winner there.
You fucking were.
So I've probably had quite a few years off school, probably. I think that's really when I met you, I suppose, is when I came back to school.
That was it, because I remember you'd hear subtle whispers around the playground. Did you hear? Mule's coming back. And then like you came, the second coming.
It was tricky though, I will say. I was talking to someone the other day about this, and it was actually a customer of mine, and she was a mental care worker sort of thing. So are you quite busy in a virus and stuff like that? She said, yeah, we are busy, but we're more worried about when it all goes back to normal, and people that will probably have like anxiety and stuff like that. They probably don't even know they've like anxious sort of thing, but when they go back out into the real world, they might really suffer with it, because it wasn't until she said that and I sort of thought about it a bit. When I went back to school, I was fucking terrified.
Yeah, no.
Because when I left year 7, I missed 1.5 years, 2 years, I don't know how long it was. It was quite a long time off school. But at that age, that's quite a lot of your life sort of thing. So I went back to school and everyone was talking about Beyonce. I didn't know who the hell Beyonce was sort of thing. You know? I didn't know like anything.
Fucking bullshit me. You lived in some bodunk
Big titty bitch.
backwater fucking village and you didn't have it either. You try and sign into Xbox Live, someone turned a washing machine, you'd be like, bam, gone. You'd be out playing fucking stickball with the boys.
Oh,
Wow.
here we go, yeah. You grew up in a more rural area than I did, to be fair. But you just had a telly. No, I even had a telly.
I don't know why I roast you so much for that, but it's fun.
The internet was quite annoying on Xbox Live. It was every time the boiler fired up, the internet would drop out. It was really annoying.
Somebody go feed the fucking internet box some coal, will you? For fuck's sake. Oh, fuck me. Yeah, well, I had a short time off of school because, as we all well know, and it's, I don't know if the listeners know, but I have flat feet. And it is an amazing ongoing joke around, not even my friends anymore. It just seems to be everyone I meet in the streets like, oh, look at Regin's flat feet. I'm like, fuck it, the trolley boy in Tesco's taking the fucking piss out of me.
I tell everyone I can. Just show them pictures, everything. You see this man? Give him an ask.
He's got the flattest fucking feet in the world.
You want to hear him run on your nice polished floor in the supermarket.
That's not me clapping cheeks. That's Reg running along the floor. No, so I had a substantial, I say substantial, nowhere near what you had off, but I had a couple of months off school when I had bad feet and they were trying to work out how to fix it because it was really painful for me to walk. So I was sort of in that sort of growth spurt years of your sort of early teens. And everything was sort of out of whack and my knees were falling in and my ankles were falling in and my hips were going out and everything just really fucking hurt. So I was on crutches, I was in cast and I took a couple of months off school and I remember going back and like, you know, for you to have had years or months at a time off school, for me just do like 6 weeks to 2 months off school, I was like shitting myself going back to school thinking like, oh fucking hell, I've missed loads of work, everyone's going to be like asking me questions and shit. So for me to think that and you to go back to school after such a huge period, that must have been really fucking like, you know, really tough.
Yeah, I think it was more like because I didn't acknowledge it sort of thing. So just sort of like, when I sort of was in like year 7 and that, I was quite outgoing that. I was happy to talk to anyone and anything like that. When I come back, I didn't want anyone to talk. I was like, didn't want anything to happen that might mean that, you know, I'm like in the spotlight sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like if a teacher asked you to read something in class, you'd be like, I'm going home, you know? But it is literally because at that age, a lot of stuff happens in a short amount of time. So like even little things like words mean different things sort of thing. So when I went, Keen was a band.
So you come back and it's now like fucking Keen, bro.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, this band's really taken off. Like,
Tough cunt.
you don't want to ask because you don't want to seem like the oddball sort of things. You just go along with it. I was like, oh yeah, that pigeon's Keen. No idea whether that's right or not.
I love a Keen pigeon.
So yeah, I think that was weird. Like I'd never really given it much thought before, really. But yeah, it was quite scary. They're quite daunting, I suppose, in a way. And then you get everyone else is just like, oh, you're gonna be held back a year, and you're just like, oh, am I? Like you don't know, do you?
No, you
just
don't.
sort of like, yeah,
no clue.
Yeah, and apparently that's not actually a thing in England, really.
No,
too much,
not
so.
Really. Luckily, you got some brain cells in your
I got
head.
some-
Well, you ain't got too many because you still became a mechanic.
I did, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I was going to ask. It's totally gone out of my head now. I'll think of it later. But yeah, so long-term effects. So in the sort of with what you're doing now, are there days where you really struggle with your sort of health conditions and issues that you've got? Or
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
because you've got a form of arthritis. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Has that actually been diagnosed? So I remember
Yeah.
when you were going through the diagnosis, and they're like, "Well, it could be."
Yeah, like 2 years of like.
Yeah, I remember it being a very long time.
Yeah, well, we don't know. Maybe. Who knows? It's unlikely because you're young. I'm like, yeah, but just look in the file.
So look at this shit.
Drag out this 6 foot deep fucking filing cabinet with Mule written on it.
Yeah, so I mean, it was really bad when I was when I was still working for the first garage I ever worked for, sort of thing. And that's when I actually decided, like, you know, I need some help with this, because it was getting to the point I couldn't drive, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't even open a door, sort of thing. But it was weird, because it would be like, because it's an immune system problem again, where your immune system's just like that joint's bad, attack it.
There is
sort of thing.
There is a virus. It was around in the 80s. And I'm not trying to diagnose you from an armchair. You might want to look into it. I'm joking, you're not skinny enough.
Oh, thanks for your concern.
Always, you know.
Yeah.
So effectively, you're like a walking liability.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Health insurance is fun then.
Yeah, I haven't looked. Don't want to look.
No.
Don't want to know.
When you come to sorting yourself out a mortgage, that's
I go put it in someone else's name, I think.
clean bill of health for me, sir.
Even my grandfather would be a better name to put on that thing than me. But yeah, it can affect you, and it's just a hit you got to take. You know, if you work by yourself and you're ill, then that's it, isn't it? Well, you're not earning, are you?
No.
So yeah, it's just one of those things. I think you just sort of get on with it and carry on, really. But the trouble is, like, everyone thinks, oh, it's so terrible and that. But if you don't know any different, then it's not actually. It's just the norm, sort of thing.
No, I totally agree.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, everyone thinks, oh, it's so terrible to be you, and you've had cancer and that. It's like, well, I don't know anything else, so it's like, it's not actually. It was so long ago as well. Jesus, that's like 20 odd years ago. You got to get over things at some point, haven't you? Really?
Yeah. No, I'm a great believer in that. Of you know, everyone's got their own individual struggles, and you say you don't know anything else, so you just get up and get on with it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there are people that really, really, really suffer, and they know it's fucking bad. But
yeah,
you know, like you say, it's 20 years ago. You just kind of get up and get on with it and push on, and you don't know any different. So
yeah, and I think, like, your mind does something weird as well, doesn't it? Like, if you've ever had anything really painful, it's just like your mind, like, a week later, it's like, I can't really remember what that felt like, to be honest.
Just remember that it hurt, not quite how much it hurt. Yeah, you never remember a level of pain, do you? If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't put your finger on that.
Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty good. It does that, to be fair. So I never get out of bed.
So, lead us on to our next topic, Marlon.
So you've had some interesting cars.
Car talk time. Everyone's going to fucking tune out. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Interesting and terrible.
Which one has been terrible? I kind of take offence to that.
We haven't got that long.
Starts from the start, right? First car. This is the best. In my opinion, it was the best first car anyone has ever had.
It was a good car. It was a 1989 Mini. What's wrong with it? 998cc, man. That thing was raw power.
It was
shit.
Fucking gorgeous.
What's wrong with them?
They're shit. They're too small. They rot. They're fucking horrible.
Well, it's a fucking British. It's a British car from the 80s. Of course, it's going to fucking rot, but we just appreciate it for what it is.
It rotted quite badly, though, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it did. It'd just been welded up before you bought it, and by the time you sold it, it was a fucking rust bucket.
It was, yeah. There was something like, if I put my foot on the brake, the passenger footwell moved.
It's something like it did.
That.
Yeah, no, I remember. That's right. Yeah,
British engineering, yeah.
And whoever was in the passenger seat was like, Mule, the floor's moving away. That was a brilliant car. I loved it. I mean, that was no exaggeration. It broke down every single week.
It did,
without fail. Furthest I ever drove it was when I went to college, which was about 15 miles.
15 miles?
Yeah, to college.
Fuck off. It's more like 30.
What, one way?
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, I'd say from where I lived to where I went to college, which was slightly on from where you went to college, it was 35 miles. So I'd imagine it'd be more around the 20, 25 mark.
From where I lived to where I went to college, that was like 20-ish.
Did you go to the same place that I went to college?
I'm not sure where you went.
I don't want to say.
The place near...
It's an absolute dive.
Yeah.
Yeah. College is good, but the place is a dive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to the same place then, yeah.
Yeah, just over 20 miles, I think that was.
Yeah. Okay, well, it
made it 20 miles.
It would normally do there, okay, which is the main thing. You get there
on time.
Yeah, and it was always on the way back. It would break. Like, most exciting.
That must have been carb then.
Yeah,
at that age.
Yeah, SUs.
Oh, lovely.
And the most exciting time I had was it was coming back from college, and. Well, I didn't know this at the time what had happened, but I was going through, there was some roadworks, and it was like a single, like traffic lights, and it was rush hour, when you finish college. So I was going through these, like the lights went green, and I was like trying to stay away from the car in front and that. And then what had happened was that the K&N filter had fallen off, and behind it was a washer, and that washer had gone through, and it had jammed the inlet valve open.
Oh shit!
And I just went. It just took
Gotta go,
off.
dog.
So I had to stop from hitting the car in front. So I put my foot on the clutch. But there's not really a red line on one of those, is it? It just sort of goes till it naturally stops.
Till it stops.
All the road workers were cheering, thinking I was some absolute hero, and I had to just like dive it into a hedge. But the trouble with that car, even on idle, if you turned it off, it wouldn't turn off, would it?
No, that was the funny thing about it. You turn it off and it would go. Brrr.
So when it's doing like 5,000 revs, it just would not turn off, sort of thing. So eventually, it's like kind of petered out, and that was it. So I had to get like the top end rebuilt, and that was fine. But it just broke down all the time. Like, but it was brilliant fun. I don't know why you hate the Marlon.
It was fantastic fun. You could take a roundabout at 50 miles an hour flat.
Yeah, and it was good. But I'm so glad I never had a crash in one, because
Yeah.
Oh, it was a dream.
A mate of mine had one, and he used to go on about how fucking amazing it was. Never saw the appeal.
have you ever driven one?
Yeah, they're fucking horrible. The steering because it's like you're all cramped up. The steering wheel's at the wrong fucking angle. When you press the brake, it doesn't actually do anything.
It's part of the fun.
It's
though.
no,
It's a bit of nostalgia, isn't it?
no.
Will I make it home?
I do
Am I gonna live
understand.
if I
I
hit
do
a traffic
understand
cone?
that little bit because of my XR3. It does break down a lot.
Yeah.
But you look cool breaking down at least.
You're doing a mini
You got
as
a
well.
fucking drop top down. You got the old
I-
white cover on it. Ooh.
To be fair, Mr. Bean did really, really damage the reputation of minis everywhere. Because if you do break down and you got the bonnet open, you just look like a fucking clown, don't you?
Yeah.
I kind of see what you're saying there. But they are brilliant fun to drive. Even though mine was like, what was that? Probably like 30 horsepower at best. Probably that.
Oh,
thing.
at best, yeah.
Like it never went over 70. I don't
It was the
think.
most fun.
Yeah.
I would say it was the most fun I had as like when we all learned to drive. If Mule was taking the mini out, I was getting in the fucking passenger seat and we were going. And everyone would cheer when you go past. If you, like, you go along and have this little horn like beep beep. And then all these people on the high street were like, whoa.
It was brilliant. I had one of our mates. I picked him up because he'd never been in a mini. And we want to go in a mini, so we went up and down the bypass. This is quite fast, like the fastest road, the only fast road near us, essentially. Took him up in it. I absolutely caned it. Oh, it's 65 out of it. Come back. We were all sat in the supermarket car park, and as we were coming up to the car park, I was still coming in quite hot, sort of thing. I realised like my clutch had given out, sort of thing. So I was stuck in whatever gear I had chosen, sort of thing. So I'd chosen third, and that was what I was going to stick with third, sort of thing. But he needed to get back to his car, and I needed to get my car home, sort of thing. So we swung into this car park, and that basically like, get out now. And it just jumped out. I didn't stop, make sure I just carried on. But all our other mates were there, so all they saw was me like kick him out of a moving car and then drive off.
Oh man! And then it kind of goes downhill a bit for a short while after that, in my opinion. After that, car wise,
I don't think it does.
well, you bought a Civic, and it was a lovely teal green, wasn't it?
It was a lovely colour.
And it was.
I like a teal.
It hadn't really been fucked with, had it? It had a hideous exhaust on it,
It had a big exhaust on it.
and then
Was it EF, EG? Okay.
EG, no,
yeah,
EK, but EJ,
EJ.
It was basically the uncool EK, essentially.
D14.
Yeah, but that car did me proud. I know you'll laugh at it.
Oh yeah, but it's super reliable. Never ever broke down. And going from a Mini to a Civic, it was like worlds apart for you.
Yeah,
Getting it, turn the key, and
it started.
Go wherever you want to go.
No choke.
No,
believe
Yeah,
it.
so
Could not believe
they
that.
were the same year, weren't they?
No.
Oh no, sorry, no. Dennis's car was the same year as yours.
Polo. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was a good car, but then, as we were saying earlier, it's like I just listened to you guys, didn't I? And just ruined it.
Well, you bought orange wheels for it.
neons, big wheels, drop it on its ass.
I didn't get neons. I wanted neons. But yeah, I bought some wheels because they were racing dynamic team whatever cool wheels, but they were bright orange, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to bolt them on and I'll spray them at some other point. And then I think it was one night Saturday night, everyone was like, bet you don't spray the rest of like your trim orange. So, all right. And I must have driven around with that teal and orange car for a year, I think.
You couldn't get away with fuck all.
No, I couldn't.
Everybody knew who you was.
Yeah.
I remember when we were drinking in your parents' back garden, and we were ordering an exhaust for it.
Oh.
And you were like, "How big's this, Reg?" And I was like, "Oh, it's about this big." Like I sized it up with my fingers, and you were like, "Yeah, looks about right." Ordered it. Like a week later, it turns up. Reg! I was like, "What?" "This fucking exhaust is huge." I was like, "How big is it?" He's like, "I can fist it." I was like,
Big old Jap can.
There's a big exhaust for a 1.4, Muley.
We had a few beers. I didn't know anything back then of sizes or anything, but you normally knew what you were on about until it came to like inches and stuff like that, apparently, where you
Wow, yeah.
way out on your
Yeah, girls think, we're like women. You tell them what 6 inches look like, and they get a little bit disappointed when they really see it. Like,
I said to him, "Oh, what's 5 inches?" And he went, "Oh, I don't know, like that," which like 2.5 inch. So I was like, "Oh, that's all right. I'll order that then." Sort of thing. This thing was monstrous.
it would bang speed bumps as you went over speed bumps, and the car was standard height.
Yeah. Terrible car. Terrible car. I don't want to talk about it anymore, actually. It's really upset me.
Well, what was next then?
After that was the Del Sol.
The Del Slow.
Del Slow. It wasn't slow.
It had the most. It was the
It's
engine.
the engine was shoutiest engine I've ever come across.
The B16.
Yeah.
Mighty VTEC.
Hell of an engine, but
It was
no real power behind it.
The engine had power. It was just the incredibly overcomplicated convertible situation you had on where the boot would raise up.
Yeah, fucking hell.
The boot. For our audio listeners who can't obviously see what we're trying to describe. To be fair, it's probably better that they listen on audio than watch me try and use my fingers to describe this.
Get your finger out of there!
So you have sort of two stanchions that would lift the entirety of the boot up. Like just the whole boot lid would just rise towards the sky, and then it would kind of shoot the roof out of the boot, and the roof would kind of like latch into the windscreen, and then a little motor behind the seats would grab it and pull it down. And then I never did it, but I remember you having to reach forward and do up these rather large levers. You'd have to like clunk into place, and then the boot would lower itself back down. It would do the opposite, obviously, to take the boot away, take the roof away.
What is your problem with that? Is that not the coolest thing you've ever
heard? No, it was.
Got a forklift in the boot.
I remember essentially what it was, probably a better way of describing it. It was incredible to watch, but my God, was it heavy.
It was a heavy car, you're right.
It was fantastic. It was great fun.
What do they weigh?
I got a feeling it's about 1,500 kilos, something like that.
It's fucking nearly TT territory.
Yeah, nearly.
And it's a two-seater, and it's smaller than TT, and it has a smaller engine, and it's not four-wheel drive. So,
and it's got less power.
A rather heavy boy.
It was, but it was a good car.
It was.
It was good, but looking back on it now, I think, how did I had no shame back then.
You've still got it though.
I do. Yeah, I do still have it. Allegedly.
It's at my place.
Yeah.
It's actually at my place.
I haven't seen it for 2 years. So it might not be at his place.
Yeah, I broke it and sold the expensive bits.
There's no expensive bits on that car. But yeah, being young, you just have no shame, do you? This thing had massive spoiler, side skirts, the lot. And I was like, yeah.
Don't hate the player, baby.
Yeah, I'm cool.
It was. I love the car. I did. I'm shitting on it because it was just extravagant. It was just the loudest, most... everything about it had no shame. Just like your last car, just like the Civic.
Yeah. Got a bit of a thing for shouty cars, but then
yes, you do. Yeah, don't talk yourself out of it. Every car you've had has been in your fucking face.
Not really.
Because going on to your next car was a Nissan 300ZX, Reg's dream car.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
You rang me up. You were like,
big old wedge.
You've always wanted a 300ZX. I was like, yeah, 3-litre V6, twin turbo, targa top roof. Leather interior, all the instrument binnacle was literally like a fighter fucking jet. This thing's gorgeous. 80s as you fucking like, but it was a 90s car. I was like, yeah. He's like, well, I've been offered one. Do you want it? And I was like, well, I'm not really in a financial position to buy it. And he goes, well, fucking good, because I've bought it. I was fucking spitting. I was like, you have not. And then he took me out in it, and it was everything that I fucking dreamed it was. It was loud, it was fast, it literally was like Dom Johnson from Miami Vice was pulling in. All he needed was a Hawaiian shirt, and he'd been fucking set.
Oh, baby.
Hell of a car, though.
Oh, it was fantastic.
It was massive. Remember, we measured it against your Range Rover, and it was longer and wider.
It was, yeah. It was a monster of a thing.
Yeah. Good car. That was one of my favourite cars, I think. That
Just an absolute cunt to work on. Could not do anything
couldn't
to
do
it.
anything without
That's why you
taking the
sold
engine
it. I hope the bloke is that, you know.
I was so happy when I sold it.
But to be fair, you sold it as described.
I said, look, it's rusty. Here are the repair panels.
Yeah,
so he knew it was rusty.
Yeah, you sent in the repair panels for it.
But it was just things like you go on the book time to change turbos. It's a 30-hour job. No one wants that on
The whole
you.
block's got to come out, hasn't it?
Not on your own car.
No. Even an EGR delete, I think the engine's got to come out. Anything you want to do, engine's got to come out.
Like the old fucking Fiat Coupes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So
Fuck
that was the main reason for selling it. Otherwise, I probably would have kept it. But when the bloke said he was shipping it to America, I was over the moon. So I was like, well, that's just not my problem anymore. That's,
You
Out of
can't
my
get-
life, I'll see you later.
yeah.
You can't get anyone ringing you up going, oh, well, you said. And you're like, no, it's a sold a scene
But
driver.
he did. About 5 years later. Do you remember?
Yeah, he did.
Fucking
Yeah,
5 years later, he
5
rang you up
years.
and started moaning.
5 years later, he rang me.
Fuck off, you daft
He
cunt.
messaged me, and he'd then moved to Texas, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
He messaged me from Texas and was like, oh, yeah, that car was a bit rusty, really. I was like, that's 5 years ago, man.
I sent you the repair panels. Probably wouldn't be rusty if you had them welded in when I told you to.
Yeah. That was pretty scary, though. And you just get I had like just a message from this bloke saying, oh, did you sell a white 300ZX about 5 years ago? I was like, oh, no. Someone died? Like,
On a hook for something.
it's just a text you dread seeing, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that car you sold. Oh, God, yeah. So yeah, that was a hell of a car. And then after that, I had a Volvo Estate.
Shit, how the fuck did I forget about the Volvo?
I loved that car.
I was going straight to the end game, but yeah,
Fucking solid unit.
Yeah, that was a good car.
drank like a fish.
2.5 petrol, non-turbo.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
honestly that thing. I remember you first took it out and you're like, Reg, it's drank 20 quid tonight. I think it's going to have to go.
But that was a cool car. We cut the springs in half, and it was low.
Manual
Oh,
auto.
Manual.
Oh.
Yeah.
Full leather.
It's the comfiest car I've ever had. Even with like no springs in it, comfiest car ever. Definitely.
It was.
People still cut the springs.
Well, this was quite a while ago. This was
like 5 years ago at least.
yeah. But
We did it for shits and giggles. We knew
Yeah, it was a
weren't-
cheap car.
You weren't
We-
keeping the car. We just did it for fucking
yeah,
being lads.
and it was brilliant. But you couldn't go over speed bumps or anything. Like,
Well, you ground out, wouldn't you? The fucking thing was so long. You'd be rocking there on the speed bump.
you did if you had a
Like
full
a
car.
fucking beach whale.
We'd just get beached on it. Let everyone out.
Fuck's sake.
But yeah, that was a good car. And I think I just went straight to the Skyline after that.
Ooh, now tell it.
So, some specs.
Well, it's a 98 R34 GTT, not a GTR because I was poor. So I had that imported 4 years ago.
Similar time to I bought the Black Range Rover. Yeah.
Just before, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I got a feeling. So yeah, about 4 years ago. And it had some like horrible wheels on it, horrible sound system, all the usual stuff that they do over there to ruin cars.
French, Japanese. You want to fuck off the Germans as well?
No,
all
I
right?
like the Japanese.
Yeah, we won the war.
It's just it's just their taste in some mods. You just sort of think, yeah, well,
Yeah.
like,
All that fucking bazooka stuff.
oh yeah, yeah.
Who came at how strange? How what sort of weird LSD acid shit was
Got
going
like
on
a
there?
3 meter long splitter out the front
Yeah.
and out the back, and the exhaust in the shape of a star.
That's
What-
it.
who-
Your exhaust foot is it's 12 foot high. Like, what are you doing?
Yakuza and some fucking crazy shit, man.
So yeah, got that shipped over, and then it was white. It had a few like the bad Nismo spoiler out of the two.
No,
on
it had the most gorgeous
No,
Nismo spoiler.
You've got no. Your taste is just.
You better say you've got no taste there, and I was about to get very offended while I sit here in my fucking Miami Heat fucking basketball jersey.
Yeah. So what came over me? I'm very terribly sorry. Yeah, it's just not a nice one. The one you like. So basically, I had like spats that come up the rear wings and then join the spoiler on the boot, sort of thing. So it like goes on forever. This spoiler, and I hated it, and you loved it, and you were very angry when I got rid of it. I remember
Fucking
that.
right, I was. It's gorgeous.
So I just put the nice Nismo spoiler on it, and then had it sprayed. And that's about it. I had a new fuel pump and a map. And I think that's all I've really done to it, really. It's
just sat in your fucking unit, just making you thousands of pounds a year.
Yeah.
they've gone up a lot, yeah. I would never be able to afford one now.
No.
Ever. I just got lucky. It was just luck. It really was, because I bought it drunk.
What?
Yeah. You know, I heard about the story. When
I think I remember this story.
I don't even know this fucking story.
Yeah, I bought it. We were going out drinking, and I'd been looking at it for a while. There was two that were coming over on a boat.
Yeah, I remember that bit.
And
2 white ones, wasn't it?
It's 2 white ones, but one had the really horrible front end on it.
Oh,
but it was lower miles.
The Bogo spec one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got drunk. I'll tell you what, we were off to the football club to go and watch the mouse racing. It was a... Do you remember the mouse racing?
This is like going back to the days when you lived where you used to live when you were younger. Going down the play, we're going down the street to play stickball. You coming, Muley? Oh, I just get my pantaloons on.
I swear you were there.
I never went fucking mouse
You were there.
racing.
Oh, maybe not. He's not here, actually. Yeah, so we were pre-drinking at Mum and Dad's again, because that's where everyone pre-drank pretty much, and then we were off down the football club to watch a mouse racing, and I just got drunk, and someone said, well, maybe you should. And I went,
what did
yes,
you
I should treat myself.
Did you drop him a message?
treat
Did you
yourself.
drop him a message and say I'll have it, or did you literally transfer funds there and then?
Yeah, I said, yeah, I'll have it, and then they wanted like the full amount, I think.
You
And
told
I
him to get fucked.
I was like, I'm not doing that for a car that isn't
Isn't even
here.
in the country.
sort of
Yeah.
thing.
I take it you just saw the auction photos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Not really any spec, just mileage, and that was it, really.
Fuck.
And yeah, I think I paid him half the money up front, and then when he delivered it, gave him the other half, and luckily it was it was mint.
It was absolutely mint.
Totally rust free.
I remember when it come off on the truck when it got dropped off, and we were like, "Oh yes, got a skyline,
big boosty boy."
It was like completing Need for Speed Underground too. The skyline turns out, we're like, we fucking made it.
The worst bit of the whole process was you get it, and then you've got to register it. So it's sat on your drive for like a month, and you're just staring at it. You can't drive it.
Sat there with no fucking plates on.
Yeah, because there's nothing you could drive it, but I didn't. But
No.
They'll outrun the filth.
well, yeah, probably. Well, yeah. I would like to think it would outrun a diesel Panda car.
Mule there just making big boosty fucking let off noises. What? Fuck the police!
And yeah, that's kind of it. Car. Well, apart from my Fiesta, that's probably the best car I've ever owned.
No one wants to hear about your diesel Fiesta, you cunt. No one wants to hear about Range Rovers, but I put them through it every week, man.
Yeah, so that's kind of it. Car history wise, I sort of like got to where I wanted to be, and I was very lucky to get there when I did. Really, judging by how it's going these days, to try and buy one of those now.
Right, mate, it is hideous.
I don't understand why, because you think like, no one's been working, so there shouldn't really be any money kicking about, and then like GTRs are going for like 120 grand, something like that.
Well, they're getting less and less over in Japan now.
Yeah,
It's supply and demand, isn't it? Really?
I guess so. America wants them.
Yeah, that's it. Everything's getting to the age now. It's got to be 25 years
Yeah,
before it's allowed over there.
Yeah.
So all of the like early stuff is starting to go over.
not even that. I think it's 1996 cars now. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
In a minute, you're like 2000 GTTs, GTRs.
Yeah.
They're going to be stupid.
But then I don't know if I want to sell it.
You don't drive it.
I know.
Yeah,
I don't get time.
That's the best part. You don't drive it, and you just sit there and watch it make money.
Yeah, but the
Which,
thing is,
which doesn't mean a fucking thing if you never sell it. I can attest to that.
It sits for so long, it's going to need a lot of work.
I try and drive it when you can, but it's just like you're just always working as well. And then last year, summer just gone. That was going to be the summer where
yeah.
going to do every show, going to do everything, and then it just all went to pot. So I was like, right, well, another year of it sat in the garage doing nothing.
Right. I think that's a good place to end, really. Isn't it?
We've got one more question, haven't we?
Oh, we've got one more. I always do this. I thought before we get into fucking coronavirus and bore everyone to tears after an hour car talk, fucking call that a daylight. But yeah, we got one more question. Over to you.
Oh, so if you were us, what's one question we didn't ask you
That we should
that
have.
we should have asked you?
It always catches people off guard.
It does.
The funny thing is, you all listen to it, and then you all come on the podcast like, "Oh, I had no idea you were going to ask me this."
Yeah, it's the same answer everyone gives. Oh, I don't know.
Nailed
really,
it.
You know, it's just like, yeah, I literally don't know. I think you guys have been pretty good, to be honest.
Wow.
I think you've kind of asked
It's just like a
everything that should have
backward
been
compliment that we pay ourselves, isn't it? What should we have asked you? Oh, you covered everything. You were really good. Oh, well, thank you so much. All right, then, man. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on.
asked. Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been great.
It's been fantastic. No, I really appreciate
Definitely
it.
have you back.
Absolutely.
Nice.
We'll try and have
I'd
you
be
back.
glad to come back.
Yeah. Well, it's been great. I've been Reg,
I've been Marlon.
And I've been Mule.
and this has been In the Doghouse episode. How do I fuck it up in the last 30 seconds? Episode
4?
Something like that? Yeah, all right.
Yo, see y'all bitches later.
Peace.